my life plans right now, like what I want to do. Um, I'm definitely moving back out into a van again sometime. Um, I like doing that. It's like it's way easier living to have like a storage and then to have like a vehicle you can drive around. You'll save a lot in rent, and the cost isn't too bad. It's possible to do with an SUV. I've never done it with a van, so this will be the most space I've ever had. Um, I might lease it if I can get something that's a good year. I'm really worried by people doing transmissions bad on purpose to like make repeat customers because it's just so expensive, like $4,000 or $5,000. So it's less than a year's worth of rent, but not really by much. Um, yeah. But one of the things I want to do is get some cheap land and get a Connex delivered and then start building up like an improvised residence. They have those things that are like things that can grow water from the air, solar panels, and basically become, and then as soon as you're doing a compost toilet, you can dig a really huge porta john, you know what I mean? And then one person would take a very long time to fill up a porta john, and then you can do composting and make fertilizer. So I think that's a lot better than having like being gridded, is getting a piece of land someplace using Starlink and having like my own Connex. Yeah, it's really kind of my plan. So it's to move out into my vehicle first and then like save up and snoop on some land and buy like some cheap land for, they sell land for like $2,000 sometimes, especially out in the boonies. You can get some land for nothing. And yeah, I don't want any shrubbery. It has to be flat. And then basically, like, it's kind of exciting. First thing I'll buy is a van. Next thing I'll get is, and then I'm going to drive it pretty far to pick up my old storage, which I haven't seen in like 8 years. And I've been paying month to month on this storage for 8 years. They're probably the luckiest tenant they've ever had. But I did have things I wanted to keep that were big. So has my old vehicle's seats in it. Yeah, I'm looking for a van with no seats. Really like one of those commerce vans is perfect. Something like a work van. Yeah, that's awesome. That'd be great. I will not build wood paneling in it. I like magnets and exposed metal. That's my style. Um, Cause like you could take USB hand warmers and hang them up with magnets, and then the whole thing's warm for 8 hours. And because of the Amazon lockers are legit. You can get a delivery to gas stations all over the planet, all over America. So, um, I'm dreaming of like holographic money going international with like the AI being a universal translator. So we can go kind of boundaryless, borderless. Um, but yeah, that's my plan. Van and then some land and then a Connex and then do like solar and a water generator. Just live off grid. Yeah, off grid land with satellite. I think Starlink promises you can get it anywhere, internet anywhere. It's just cool. Um, so yeah, and then that'd be really fun because oh yeah, I was watching the cement blankets. Yeah, you could build like you take your Connex. Connexes get really hot in the sun, but if you do have things like cement blankets and stuff, you would be able to shield it from rays. I feel so much better now that I have closure on my parents' house. Like, they weren't good parents to me in my life. The things I had to do or were done to me on their behalf were horrible. And I was often unhappy with that relationship. And a lot of like my coming back to them was kind of like a habit of making sure, and I don't want to use the word abuser, but my abuser was happy. And no, your abuser will never be happy. They'll do whatever they think will make it worse in the moment. And just like there's no part of me that misses them. They were too rude. They did not have my back so many times. They broke my heart so many times. Oftentimes, if there was something they could do to make it horrible, they were already thinking it too. And I'm just like over it. But I do think living out in the boons, get some land and get aquanics delivered, and then use some like cement blankets, maybe even no conics. You know, how many bricks do you have to lay? See, as a war veteran who's lived in like dusty circumstances with nothing, I can live with nothing. Lay down. It's good enough for me, you know. So anything else is pretty cool. And you can't really set up camp permanently anywhere, but yeah, I definitely think that I should have some money to buy some land by the time I move out of here, which will happen in a few months. By the way, how do people online know about my mom's house? Like, I had people online talking to me about my mother's house. Like, how do you know about it? It is. I got ambushed by Robert Downey Jr. when I went to the hospital. There's just like people talk about me where I can't see it, and I have no idea what they say or how. I'm not that bad. You know, I have people who hate me. You can find it on here, but I have people who like and respect me too. It really has to do with who they are. Like, if you think you're cool, you're going to have problems because I know you're not. And that could piss you off. But yeah, my mom wasn't, she has bad teeth. You know, she never had a visitor. The guys she's hooked up with, both my dad, I'm way bigger than both of them, and his replacement are both ugly, kind of losers, you know. So they weren't going to like me anyway. I wonder if my mom got pregnant again or my sister did. I don't know if Deanna and my sister did. She didn't really talk to me much when I was home. I don't remember any time she like opened up and gave me a series of sentiments in a row. She just was quiet. It's suggested by religion, but it's actually a bad idea. Silence is a terrible idea. If you're a victim of brainwashing, yeah, be quiet. Why? You're gonna not make any sense, and people are gonna know what your problems are as soon as you start speaking. But if you're free of that, you know you should speak. It's your whole life. It's what you're here to do. You know. I love dropping these. These are fun. I take long paths through parking lots and hide them. Put them in tip jars. I'll drop them in the backs of trucks. I had a dude with a convertible. I threw it in his window once. I try to stay out of mailboxes because it's not my business. But if the mailbox is open or there's a drop slit, then I'll do it. Yeah. If there's a slit for receiving mail, I can put anything in there. It's already open. I didn't open it to drop anything. Yeah, not illegal. Um, those like leave a book libraries. I like those. I try to avoid dropping it in the street, although sometimes I have to. It costs about $30 to get like a huge mound of these. And I'm really doing it because I don't know any other way of telling people directly what this says. You know, I did this because I thought it's like, well, I'm dealing with censorship online. It takes too long. I don't even trust I'd be able to buy an advertisement. I support anti-circumcision groups because a circumcised dick is less girthy. The dick without circumcision, the shaft will be thicker than the head. But a dick that has been circumcised, the head will be thicker than the shaft. And it looks stupid and feels horrible. And really the only person who would think of circumcision as a solution to like birth control is men who hate men. So that means they're planetary boys. It means there's boys on planet Earth who benefit from all the boys being cut. So where do they live and what do they look like? Well, if you're their victim, like I am, they're probably not going to introduce themselves. They're probably going to be happy with you living in ignorance of them. So I basically just said there's a secret party here, the secret government. So a lot of my life has been characterized by my quest against the secret government. Some things that have happened is like me ending chemtrails. I used to see chemtrails all day, every day for years. And then one day they stopped. And they stopped when I bought an advertisement condemning them as It's like they did chemtrails because they live away from us. If you would poison the air, do you live in air isolation? Do you have a private source of your own breathing supply? That's really what I concluded, and I did a public sentiment to everyone about that, and that was the day in the week it stopped. So since then, I've been on the bit. I smell blood. I go, oh, they can be hurt. Because if you're worried about what babies do, you gotta take out a baby boy. Yeah, you're a coward. I think so. I think in the traditional sense of honor, taking out baby boys with knives and lies qualifies you for being, I can't say a bitch, but being not honorable. So, I don't think it's, I think Michael Jackson was at fault. I've been researching like Michael Jackson. His problem is he believed people were devils and evil. And that language was invented to circumcise. And he was doing like extreme dieting and getting high, which I know is the you're gonna die. When you feel so good you don't know you're starving. It may look cool from a pop artist perspective, but like if you're 5'9" and 100 pounds, that's very emaciated. So yeah, I'm gonna get high tonight. No, fucking body quit. No more potential. So anyway, yeah, that's my plan. Get a van, move out of here, consolidate all my stuff in one storage, and then start like saving up and looking for land to buy. And it can be utilityless land. And the first thing I'll do when I get the land is drop a Connex on it. And that's going to be awesome. Living in a Connex. I've done it before. I had a small Connex. I had a 20-footer for 2 people. This time it's going to be a 40-footer for just me. And I'm going to use things like concrete blankets to give it shade. Concrete blankets are cool. They're really cool. Or tarps. And like really insulate it. Insulate it and then get a solar battery to run an AC on one end or something so I can sit in the cool. You don't really need a refrigerator. You do if you're out there. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that'll be quite a purchase. Solar system with batteries, that'll be huge. There's a few things you can eat without it. Like anything on the shelf not in the fridge, you can have and it won't go bad. And a lot of things won't go bad in a couple days. So, but it's going to be key getting land near a grocery store and then being able to like drive in and out. Who knows if I'll have a mailing address? It'd be cool. Maybe you have to go to the post office. It's a whole thing. Like, I am too young to get one of those nice retirement homes. You can get really, really cheap houses for like $60,000, but only when you're 55. If you're not 55, the cheapest house you can get is like $200,000-$300,000, which to me would be like most of my income, no offense. Because of God money, I never sought money. I hate God money. I'm always talking about holographic money. I'm never, ever, ever gonna like cash. You know, because it's a fraud. The pyramid and the in God we trust. Uh-oh. So you're a slave for the pyramid people again. I've considered the pyramids are a hoax to make black people look guilty. Everyone's gonna see this shit. Build this giant mound and bury your corpse in it. You think you got a kingdom given to you, but we all know the normal people will think you're the enemy. So maybe it is like a hoax, make them look guilty, or maybe they are guilty. Maybe the pyramid people were slavers. So, but yeah, that's my plan. First step, van. It's got to be cool. Something empty, no seats, and something that runs good. I'm willing to lease it. Yeah. Second thing is no paneling. I will tear the paneling out. Second thing is consolidate my storage. Third thing is get land. Fourth thing is put a Connex on it. Fifth thing is spruce up the Connex. And that'll last and then hopefully if I do it right, I'm going to have land with no property taxes. Maybe it's tough, like I have to drive what, like an hour to get supplies. That'd be hard, but I could do it once a month. Yeah. My financial situation isn't copyable. I asked not to be deployed. I didn't want to go downrange, and I definitely didn't want to stay there for 15 months. And the things I went through, and the things I saw, and the injuries I sustained, I wouldn't wish on anyone. You will not feel nice ever again. So, but they kept their end of the bargain, and when I had trouble, they covered me, which I appreciate. I have given military and police permission to take over the world. If you're circumcised, you can look for the private harems of the elite. You have all the reason to. I do appreciate. I saw, I've got a glint in my eye when it comes to good military service, because you doing it by yourself takes forever and it's hard. You doing it with 30, 100 people who all want to do it together really fast, awesome, inspiring. So, I definitely like good teamwork. The devil's crew in my government. Why'd I make the government? It's my astrology. I have to start something new, and I'm a cop. Got red and blue. The law is behind me in Virgo. My rising sign is Aries. I have to start something new. So I did holographic speed painting. Cancel circumcision. New on top of circumcision would be just cut everything off. You're all women. That would be extremely new. But I decided that losing the pleasurable interaction between men and women was a crime, and that you ought to keep that exhilaration because it's fun. And nobody wants to feel pain between their legs. It's distressing. You know what I mean? So, it's kind of my philosophy. But yeah, that's my plan for the next, I don't know, year or two. Get a nice van, consolidate my storage, I also want to go to South Dakota to get a Nomad license plate. Yeah, you can basically get a permanent Nomad license plate where it's like you don't have to keep registering it. You don't need an address, which is pretty cool. You can go to Dakota for one day, and that will qualify you for their Nomad address. Yeah, you only need a camping site once, which is super cool. Yeah. So that's like my next few years. You know the guy, what's his name? Tommy Two Coats? Yeah. I lived in a Connex before. Sucked. But it was like 140-degree weather. I had to work during the night. And I had to try to sleep during the day. Yeah, you do 15 months baking in 140-degree weather trying to sleep. I got like sick. I am not a rich man compared to like Jordan Peterson. He supports circumcision. He makes $400,000 a month. That's 10 times what I make in a year. But I don't circumcise anyone. So don't support God. There's a lot of free money for supporting God, but it's a trick if you think you made it. If you cut their dicks off. And it's a lie. The major details that you need Jesus Christ for salvation from hellfire is the... If it was true, it'd pop out of thin air and read itself. But yeah, that's my plan. I'm going to make a Connex base somewhere. It'll be kind of tricky. Like, it has to be flat. It can be hot during the summer. No, it has to be flat, sunny, because I'm going to have, so it basically has to be Arizona, New Mexico, Nevada, maybe. Anywhere that has sun most of the days of the year is up for grabs. But that'll be fun. Actually having, and then you can get sandbags. Yeah, you can get sandbags and Phillips sandbags. You got to get a plasma cutter to cut through the... Yeah, it'll be fun. It's my project. Anyway, thanks.